You know that feeling when you're at a concert, screaming and waiting for your favorite song, but the band just skips it? What if I tell you some of the most iconic songs in rock history never made it to the stage? You think legends like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and Queen play everything, right? In reality, some of their most beloved tracks were never performed live. From haunting ballads to groundbreaking anthems, these songs stayed locked away, leaving fans to wonder why they never heard them in person. We are about to get into the stories behind these missing moments, track by track, and uncover the real reason these rock icons kept their greatest hits off the stage. Stick around, the answers might surprise you. First up, we have the Eagles' My Man. My Man is one of those quiet, emotional tracks that fans adore, but most casual listeners probably never heard of.
No man's got it made till he's far beyond the pain.
Written and sung by Bernie Leadon, this track was a tribute to his late friend, Graham Parsons, who died way too young. It's the kind of song that hits you right in the feels, a country rock ballad filled with sadness and heartfelt lyrics. But here's the real deal. Once Leadon left the Eagles in 1975, the song left too. It wasn't just because the band moved on, it was because it was Bernie's song. After he walked away, the Eagles never revisited it, not even in reunion shows. It wasn't part of their stadium anthem catalog. And as time passed, it was forgotten by most. But for the few who remember it, My Man remains a bittersweet gem, one that will always be linked to Graham and Bernie's unique bond. On number 2, we have Pink Floyd's Fearless. If you're a die-hard Pink Floyd fan, you know that Fearless is one of the most underrated tracks from Metal, 1971.
Fearlessly the idiot faced the crowd.
It starts off soft and introspective, with this gradual build-up that pulls you in. With emotional acoustic layers, the ending is unforgettable. You'll Never Walk Alone blaring out, with a chant that gives you chills every time. You'd think a song like that would be a staple at their shows, right? But nope, despite its power, Fearless never made it into their live performances. Why? Because it just didn't fit with the band's massive theatrical live setup, especially once they started filling up arenas and stadiums.
Unheeded warnings, I thought of everything.
By the time they were playing to thousands, Fearless had already been forgotten in their set lists. Roger Waters did perform it solo later on, but the original Floyd lineup? They never touched it. It remained one of the band's hidden gems, tucked away in the studio. Next, we got Guns N' Roses' One in a Million, released as part of the GNR Lies EP. In 1988, One in a Million is a stripped-down acoustic track that quickly became one of the most controversial songs in Guns N' Roses' catalog.
No, we tried to reach you, but you were much too high.
The song's lyrics, which many fans and critics found to be racist, homophobic, and xenophobic, sparked immediate backlash. Axl Rose, being Axl Rose, defended the song for years, claiming that it was supposed to represent a fictional character's voice and not his personal beliefs. But even he couldn't escape the weight of those words. Over time, he seemed to distance himself from it. The band never performed it live, not once. It became a track that, despite its raw honesty and controversial edge, the band just couldn't bring themselves to revisit. When the 2018 reissue of GNR Lies dropped, One in a Million was quietly removed. There was too much heat surrounding the track, too much regret, for a song that had crossed a line even the band couldn't ignore. On number 4 is Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven is probably the most iconic song Led Zeppelin ever released. It's got it all, with soaring vocals, legendary guitar solos, and an emotional journey that's made it a staple in rock history. The twisting part comes when Robert Plant, the guy who gave that song life, started to hate it. It became the song that defined Led Zeppelin in a way he never wanted. He even called it that bloody wedding song, and at one point paid a radio station to stop playing it.
When I look to the west, and my spirit is crying for leaving.
The pressure of having this one song overshadow their entire catalog started to wear him down. After the band broke up in 1980, Stairway was rarely ever played again. In 2007, when Zeppelin reunited for a special performance, they played it one last time. Since then, nothing. Plant has been clear. Stairway to Heaven is the biggest Zepp song, but it's also the one they've run from. On number 5 is David Bowie's The Bewlay Brothers. David Bowie was always the king of weird, and The Bewlay Brothers is a prime example of that.
The Bewlay Brothers, with our backs on the...
The final track on his Hunky Dory album. From 1971, this song is moody, cryptic, and filled with unsettling sounds. Fans still argue about what the song really means. Most people think it's about Bowie's half-brother Terry, who had mental health issues and was later institutionalized. Bowie himself admitted that he didn't completely understand the lyrics, which just adds to the song's mysterious aura. But what's even stranger, Bowie only performed it live. Once. Just one time at a BBC Radio Theatre show in 2000. That's it. Despite its haunting power, he kept it locked away, a secret that was never fully revealed. He never brought it back into the live rotation, probably because it was just too personal and too strange to share on stage. Next is Queen's The Show Must Go On.
I guess we know the score. On and on.
Released in 1991, The Show Must Go On became Queen's final artistic statement from Freddie Mercury before he passed away. The song's lyrics are heartbreakingly powerful about pushing forward through illness and despair.
My makeup may be flaking, but my smile still.
Freddie, already gravely ill with AIDS at the time, reportedly drank vodka just to get through the recording. His bandmates were in complete awe of how he managed to pull off the track, knowing how much pain he was in. When Freddie passed, Queen found themselves in a tough spot. They didn't perform the song live for 6 long years. It wasn't because they didn't want to. It was because the emotional weight of it was just too much for them and for the fans. Finally, in 1997, The Show Must Go On was performed live at a tribute concert with Elton John on vocals. But even then, it was hard for everyone involved. The raw emotion was almost too much to bear, and it's still a rare performance to this day. It's just one of those songs that packs too much of a punch. And can't miss this one out. Next is ACDC's It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll. ACDC's 1975 track, It's a Long Way to the Top If You Want to Rock and Roll, is one of their most iconic songs, wild, energetic, and full of swagger. The track is known for its unique mix of hard rock and bagpipes. Yeah, bagpipes. It's a song that perfectly captured the essence of ACDC, with Bon Scott's unmistakable voice and charm. But after Bon's tragic death in 1980, ACDC made a quiet but firm decision. They would never play it live again. It wasn't because they couldn't. Brian Johnson, their new lead singer, could have sung it just fine. It was out of respect for Bon. This song was his anthem, his voice, his story, and once he was gone, the band chose to let it stay with him. Brian Johnson never touched it in his years with the band, and it remains one of those sacred songs that was too tied to Bon to ever be played by anyone else. On number 8 is the Beatles' Tomorrow Never Knows. Released on Revolver in 1966, Tomorrow Never Knows was way ahead of its time.
Turn off your mind, relax and float downstream.
This track was like something straight out of the future. It featured tape loops, reversed guitars, eerie vocals, and a psychedelic vibe that the world had never heard before. It was revolutionary, but the crazy part is, the Beatles never played it live. Not once. Even when they were still actively touring, this track never made a setlist. Producer George Martin, the genius behind so much of their sound, said it was impossible to recreate live. The entire thing was built using studio trickery, layered tape loops, and effects that couldn't be reproduced on stage in 1966, no matter how good their gear was. So, Tomorrow Never Knows stayed locked away in the studio, never leaving the confines of the recording booth. It became one of their most iconic tracks, but one that was born in the studio, never to be let out into the live arena. Next is the Rolling Stones' Brown Sugar. Brown Sugar was released in 1971, and from the moment it dropped, it was raw, dirty, and incredibly addictive. That riff was iconic. It quickly became a live staple and a crowd favorite. Fans went wild every time the Stones played it. But, as much as it was loved, the song's lyrics didn't age well. In fact, they aged really badly. With references to slavery, rape, and abuse, it became harder to defend in today's culture. Mick Jagger himself admitted he didn't fully understand what he was writing about when he penned the song. It was a product of its time, but that time passed, and in 2021, the Stones quietly dropped Brown Sugar from their setlists. There was no big announcement or official statement, just silence. The song didn't survive the shift in cultural consciousness. What was once a crowd pleaser turned into a piece of the past that the band couldn't bring themselves to revisit. Lastly, we got Radiohead's Creep. Creep was Radiohead's big break back in 1992. It turned them into overnight rock stars. But here's the thing. While the song was raw and emotionally charged, it was also painfully relatable, and that made it way too popular for the band's taste. The thing is, Thom Yorke hated it. He's called it crap on multiple occasions, complaining that it was just too commercial. It didn't represent the band's real vibe, so they stopped playing it at shows for years. And if fans begged for it, Yorke didn't hold back. He snapped back, saying things like, "Fuck off." The band felt like they were being boxed in as the sad band because of it. Eventually, though, Radiohead kinda made peace with it. Sort of. They play it now and then during live shows, but there's always this sense that it's the one song they love to hate. It's funny how the song that got them famous is still the one they can't quite embrace. Which of these iconic rock songs do you think should have made it to the stage? Do you think any of these bands should have given them another shot? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you loved digging into these forgotten classics, hit that like button and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories of rock's greatest mysteries.